What a beautiful day. Gorgeous. Oh, hello everyone. Sean Goodison Productions back here with a brand new video. And today's video, I have quite a few important topics to discuss. One of them is kind of like not a topic, but more of a quick update. Your boy's now representing his brand. So if you guys see me out in the streets, feel free to, Anyway, now onto the topics, because this one's going to be kind of a long one and an important one to address. So this happens to do with the e-bike and e-moto community surrounding Surrons, e-bikes, Talarias, e-ride pros, and just there's like a lot of them I can't really keep up to date with. But anyway, there's a lot of them out there, let's just say that much. So this video happens to do with addressing the legalities of riding a Surron or an e-moto out on streets, specifically in BC streets. So I will have linked down below in the description, or probably right in this little panel here. But there was an article that suggested in Vancouver, and they made it quite specific that in all of BC roads, those who ride e-motos are not legal to do so. And now they are classified as under the same category as dirt bikes, or just dirt bikes in general. And they say that if you don't have a license to ride or operate a dirt bike, you wouldn't get on one, period. Well, now they're kind of treating Surrons in the same way. And because these Surrons can go up to excess speeds of up to 80 to like 100 kilometers an hour, especially, well, the base speed being 80 kilometers an hour. If they're modified, they can do up to 112, 120 kilometers an hour. And realistically, that is far too fast for anybody who may be new to the scene to be getting on and, just going wild out and crazy. So this is the result of young kids between the ages 14 to 16 for them to ask their parents for this kind of stuff. Don't get me wrong, I don't rule out that these kids can afford stuff on their own, especially if they work with their parents up to the point where they get employment and they get like a good background, like as a resume to get referenced by. But for most of them that have their parents have disposable income to allow them to get these things, their parents and the kids are not fully aware of what kind of power they're dealing with, let alone have the parents not even know anything about this. They're like, oh, an e-bike? What's this about? Can you maybe educate me, And they can say, oh, it's an e-bike that's got pedals and stuff, and it goes pretty fast, until they get their hands on one. And then when they're like, this seems more like a dirt bike than an actual e-bike. Oh, no, don't worry. It's an e-bike, trust me. It might look intimidating, but it's an actual e-bike. And then when they get out riding and they start hearing all the kinds of trouble that they might get in, because law enforcement, their radar is starting to grow extensively. Like, they're boiling it down to one of two things. One, if you have a motorcycle license and insurance and a plate to show in the back underneath the seat of a Surron, great, that's one bypass. Or you have to get a pedal kit, kind of like what this bike has, except for it's native to this bike. But if you get yourself a kit that has pedals or transforms it into pedals, then you're kind of more in the safe zone. And this is where, for me, my e-bike makes me feel that more secure. It goes fast. It may not achieve speeds of up to 80 kilometers or more, but it keeps it safe and under the radar, which makes me feel all the more grateful, because I have yet to be pulled over by an officer. Not that I say that my days are coming, but I am counting my blessings every day. But I have not been stopped by an officer, other than the fact that my light was, it was during a drone show that was supposed to happen some time ago, and my lights were too bright for oncoming traffic. But that's it. Nothing to do with the bike at all. But also because I'm a very responsible rider. And because experience from past has taught me, be safe than sorry. Because, as you guys may know, I'll bring this up again, back in March of 2023, I got into my very first e-bike accident that involved me colliding with a vehicle while going into a gas station. And because of the speeds that I know I can go at and control, that's what makes me a comfortable rider. I can go fast because I know I can slow down. And I'm always scanning, many blocks ahead. I'm always looking, okay, is there somebody coming up from each intersection I need to be worried about? Because that's going to be the difference between life and death for me. And some of the people around here, I kid you not, they do not care. They will prioritize themselves over any other road user because they think of their right of way. And for me, I'm always looking out for that. Now, unfortunately, when it comes to kids riding their e-motos, they're kind of oblivious. They're just having fun. They're going, woohoo, trying to wheelie, ging, 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 ging type of deal. And they're also trying to, do stunts and stuff, but they're not aware that when they're not seeing over the horizon of their handlebars in front of them, that they might be veering off a little bit to the left or to the right. And then, boom, there might be a vehicle there they're not aware of. Or they fall off the back of their surron seat and end up scraping their back up. And the most important one of all, and I used to never really speak out much about this, but because it did save my life, having this is absolutely essential. Because as it's been repeated many times over, it's not the crash you have to worry about, it's a matter of when it happens. And if you can control how it happens, it won't hurt as much. And for me, well, I was well geared up. I had my helmet at the time, and the way I hit this woman's windshield, yeah, I would have had a concussion or I would have been likely in a coma if I hadn't worn my helmet. So that's why I'm all the more grateful. Although I do understand that there is the line of I'll do what I want, you do you type of deal. But I'm more of like someone who cares if this happens because it's happened to me before, and if I seen it happen to somebody else, not that I'm saying I have, but if it does, it'll be a really messy situation. But considering the situation now, on their bikes stunting and stuff, wheeling and not giving a damn who they run into and stuff, that's the concerning part, and that's what's law enforcement's radar. Is because they're not insured, they don't have no license, they're out having fun, and now they're starting to, okay, we realize these kids are getting a little bit out of hand, we need to kind of, boom, we gotta put the hammer down. So that's what's happening here, and this is me updating you guys that what's happening here is slowly happening everywhere else. But fortunately, now that I'm starting to see ways of not having people look down on us, as if to say, we told you so, but now there's a window of opportunity where e-bikes are now not looked at as in a bad way, because if you want to have fun and avoid the law, these e-bikes that I've got, like the do-it-yourself ones, they may be fast, but as long as the rider is responsible and knowing what the traffic laws are, you will completely stay off the radar. I know because I got so many years of experience. And I'm not meaning to toot my own horn, but I have to throw that out there. Because I have a mid-drive bike, I have this one, which the phone's holding up right now, and I have a very powerful dual-motor e-scooter. And I'll tell you this much, dual-motor e-scooters are just as fast, as powerful, or can be, and are just as dangerous. So, with that said, I just wanted to throw that out there because now the law enforcement started to not make the gray area so gray anymore. It's becoming more defined around here, and for that reason is why I may never really own one unless one, I win it, or two, I manage to pick it up and make it as a project. But right now I am not completely bothered if I actually ever own one, because this one I have right now is about as close to one as I'll ever need. And with the law enforcement cracking down on certain people, and also another thing too, it's not completely definitive or not, but I'm starting to see a lot more of these e-motos on sale on Marketplace now. It's making me wonder, okay, well, this is not worth having anymore. Even though they don't say it in the description box as to why they're getting rid of it, they just say that, oh, it's this powerful, it goes this fast, I did this, and I did this to that. They're not really specifying, but I kind of speculate that it's because the law enforcement are cracking down. You can't use these on the road anymore. You have to go where dirt bikes are allowed, which is probably on your own property, going up the back way, back trails that the law doesn't really care too much about, such as a dirt trail. That's probably the best as it gets. But as far as her road legality, no. They're starting to say no more. You guys are getting a little bit too reckless, and we need to step in and remind you guys, no. Unless you have one of these two things, the motorcycle license or a pedal kit, we have to stop you and impound you because you're acting reckless. It's just how it's going to be now. That was what I was wanting to get off my chest. I'm sorry if this is a little bit long, but this had to be for this reason. But the next part is going to be on the way, and through this, what's the updates. So, stay tuned for that. Alright, so now that we get ourselves moved along here. So yeah, this kind of setup right here It's perfect. Like, this is the do-it-yourself project. This is what gives off the vibe that this is a sleeper Surron, just because of the frame and everything, and because I do have my side panels on. But apart from not having the battery inside the chassis here, this might be a distinction that this is an older Surron that people may not be aware of, but I have to reassure them, no, it ain't no Surron. But thank you for the term of endearment, because that's what, you know, that's what it looks like. So right now, I'm on my 60 volt 20 amp hour battery, because I just finished charging on my 72, and I just wanted to, you know, give this more of a run because I hardly run my 60 volt. But anyway, it's not going to be as punchy as my 72, but it's still just as fast. So, as we get moving here, the other topic I wanted to talk about is my upload schedule. So, you guys may notice that my schedule has only been 1 day a week, and I'll tell you this much: there's actually some benefit to that. So for me, I don't have any sponsors. I don't have anyone to work with in terms of like to promote content. So I'm kind of like trying to rack my brain of ideas for videos to make. Can be a struggle. There was actually already one weekend I didn't upload because I had no idea in mind of what I was wanting to do. And this is why I feel like by uploading 1 day a week gives me plenty of time to think of what I want to do for a video, than to just push one out for the sake of I need to have a video out. I want it to be meaningful. I wanted to actually have purpose behind a video. That's why I'm not just uploading for the sake of uploading. And one of them is, if I do have an idea for a video, especially if there are events in town here, I can maybe cram 2 videos in one upload. So that's, you know, beneficial. Just gonna get ahead of this person here. So that's more or less why I've only been doing 1 upload. But even then, that's kind of a struggle because, you know, sometimes it just escapes my thought, and then days go by. It's like, oh crap, I only got 1 day to get a video out before, you know, the day is up that I need to have it uploaded for. But the other struggling part too is trying to figure out the YouTube algorithm. And fortunately, I did come across a video where it's been more defined on how that algorithm works. And man, I hate how it works because it makes me do something I'm not really fond of doing, which is having to beg for likes or dislikes, just because it helps teach the algorithm whether my videos are going to be worthy to be recommended in the you know, for people to watch and stuff. And yeah, it just makes it awkward for me to ask for it. But I don't know, I have to do what I gotta do, I guess, if I'm going to be successful here. So if you guys aren't, it would really help immensely if you guys could. I don't care if it's either or. That's why I asked for either like or dislike. But if it's a dislike, then YouTube is gonna be like, yeah, people are not really liking this video very much. We're gonna have to like cut it out, dude. Sorry, you're gonna have to try better. It's like, god damn it. But anyway, if it's any way of kind of like digging your guys' brain about my content and what I do, I am my own worst critic. So depending on how you guys rate or critique my videos, I am like my worst critiquer, because it's like if it doesn't come out how I want it to, it ain't gonna come out. So with that said, if it ain't gonna come out, then the video will be scrapped. I don't care how good the beginning was. If it messes up towards the middle or ending of the video, I gotta scrap it, because it ain't gonna work out. That's how picky I am. So don't feel bad if you guys want to, you know, critique my videos and stuff, because I do it just as badly. But either way, I've learned quite a few things through a content creator. I don't remember his name, so I'm going to keep it anonymous. But yeah, it's kind of helped give me some insight as to what I need to... Oh, there he is. Okay. It's helped give me some insight as to what I need to really do, so I'm practicing that. Hopefully it'll improve. I don't know. And another thing too is I don't watch my videos. Like, I don't look at the analytics. And for a good reason, because if I was obsessed with the analytics as some people do to try and identify what works and what doesn't, I'd drive myself nuts. Absolutely. So to kind of fill in some other stuff, which I know this content or this kind of topic would end on so soon. You see how I'm riding right now? This is the bike lane versus the road. If this is what helps keeps me off the radar. Now, if the street's empty, I'll go onto the road. But I'm not on the sidewalk, I'm in my bike lane, because it's designated for that now. So this is how I stay off the radar. So I could go fast and not have an eye batted at me. But the moment that something else is up, yeah, then I might be on the radar. But yeah, so right now, okay, so the light stopped for them, so I can go up to the road now. So it is recommended to be on the bike lane or on the road, depending on, you know, whichever feels safest. But if there is a moment that you do need to get off the road for, then by all means use the sidewalk, but only temporarily. For me, I always I don't use my motor or my hub motor on the sidewalk. I normally stick to just pedaling, because in that way people know that I'm in control and I'm going slow, so they can actually register me. But anyway, so now back on topic. That's me trying to figure out the freaking YouTube algorithm and how it all works. And until I figure out how that all works, another thing I was taught to or learned is don't share links. Because sharing links and videos to people who may or may not watch them, the watch time and the like to dislike ratio all determines on how popular a video of mine gets. So yeah, those are one of the two factors, is the like and the watch time. Now, I've learned too that only like less than a handful of people I know may watch my videos, and that's great. The only problem is how long they're watching them for, because, man, like I said, it's like a teacher. It's teaching the good and the wrong ways, and it's really been teaching me a lot that if people don't watch my videos in full, which I don't blame them if they don't enjoy my videos, that's up to you. But just know that everything affects everything. It's just how YouTube has been designed around watch time, dislike, and yeah, it makes me out to be a person I don't want to grow into be. But if your boy is going to be successful on this platform, I mean, I kind of have to bend my will to the YouTube gods. So that's that, and that's the reason why I've been doing one day uploads. I may increase that depending on my productivity. I figure it's better to do that, and that way if I have a video to, kind of like last video, there was an actual event that I attended, which was, the one was actually watching Scooter Gang Canada's friend get on a GoTrax GX3, trying it for the first time. So that was one video, and then the next day was going to the Sun Valley Cruisin', which I've now been told specifically that it's just not an Okanagan car show, that it's actually specific. And it's an event that I attended. It was actually worth putting two videos together in one. But unfortunately, my weird bum did not think to check the schedule as to which time these guys would be leaving, so that way I can catch the second best part of that show, which is watching people drive away and catching the roaring engines of their classic and well-preserved vehicles. So because of that, I missed out on it, and that's what made that video not so complete. And I kind of dislike myself for that. So I'm just going in circles here, but I'm just trying to, you know, get off my chest here. That's why my schedule has been only one day, is because I'm kind of experimenting what works best. I know they're looking for, YouTube looks for consistency, but you know, there has been a handful of people that has made uploading maybe once or twice a week viable, depending on their audience. Alright, I am not going in circles this time, I swear. It's just that light made me had no other choice but to go in a circle. Alright, so the other one I wanted to get off my, I had in mind too, for a topic, is training myself to do stunting. Now, this is going to go against what I was saying, what may cause the law enforcement to crack down on e-bikers and e-motorists. It's all surrounding the stunting scene. So, the most common one is wheeling and cutting in and swerving in out of traffic and just jumping in and going off curbs and stuff like that. This bike is more than capable of doing a wheelie. It's just like I've got my brake here set up for my rear. I just the part that's making me very hesitant right now is because of my discipline and the lack of knowing what to do. Like, it seems good in practice, it's just because this is like not a solid build like a Surron is, and if I misstep in any kind of way, it's going to cause my bike to fall apart. And because this bike has fallen apart many times in the past, it has left me down for like 2 weeks up to a month. And it sucks not being without your best friend for a freaking like a whole month, even if I do have backup. But yeah, It's a tricky one to get my head wrapped around as to when I'll do it, but I figured, I know there's plenty of areas around here I can do it safely. It's just, yeah. Do I want to ruin my setup because I'm eager to try and do something new, even though it may stagnate my content less? But I just, I enjoy riding it like this. I mean, that's, there's no problem with that. It's just when people, okay, well, your videos are so boring, all you do is talk and ramble. Let's see some stunts. Let's see you just do a wheelie. And I've been pressured by some to do a freaking wheelie, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I just don't know how to do a wheelie. But one day I'll get around to it. It's just your boy is not disciplined. It may seem easy because people have, other riders have plenty of experience and practice. But I just enjoy running like this because it's my only bike that allows me to travel this fast, and this is my fastest bike. Like, this is faster than my scooter. Although my scooter is set up to do the same thing in the same way. Let's see here. Okay, we're good. My scooter is set up to do the same thing in the same way, but be that I need to get a different brake caliper now. That's kind of a new priority, so I won't be riding that or trying that. So yeah, it's a matter of, do I want to ruin my setup if I misstep? Because there will be a misstep. I can guarantee that right now. But anyway, that's pretty much the last thing I wanted to get off my head in terms of, the law surrounding e-bikes and Surrons now, and my upload schedule and my plans as stunting in the future. I should just, stop thinking or contemplating or plan on it. Just do it. Just do it. I'm going to conclude it there because I feel like I've gotten everything that's important on my mind off my mind. Yeah, I'm going to wrap it up there. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys are slightly more informed now. If you guys are curious, feel free to follow that article down below to read more about the evidence surrounding this case, that I felt the need to make it, loud and clear that law enforcement is cracking down on these kind of people who are riding these bikes, and what the future of this might behold. So if you guys did enjoy, be sure to like or dislike, get yourself subscribed, hit that post notification bell so you don't miss out on a single video, and I will see you guys in the next one.
Guess who?